You might notice the excitement in my voice, and that is because the topic for today's show is one that I've been wanting to explore for quite a while. Now, some people might call it candle magic. My guest calls them intention candles, but whatever you call it, talking about getting things done by using these candles is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
we both want to believe.
So we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something.
Anything.
That will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Hey everyone, this is Will. Karen is attending to some family obligations, so she won't be joining us today, but I'm very well accompanied on this episode, so it relieves a little bit of sadness that comes with doing a show on my own. Now, she considers herself a peacemaker priestess that connects the spiritual and physical worlds and serves as a spiritual artist, a best-selling author, and a soul work priestess. Welcome to the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Q, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. I know that we have tried to connect on a couple of occasions, and it just so happens that the universe is finally aligned to allow us to have a conversation. So thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You and I met at the Edgar Cayce Center when they were having an event there, and we had a long conversation about the candles that you create and what they're about and how I should choose the one that might be calling to me or not calling to me. Long story short, we're going to get into all that in a second, but I just need to get right to the bottom of it. What is an intention candle?
An intention candle is a candle that has been created with a specific energy to help us meet a specific request. So for instance, we're all energy, right? Would you agree that?
I would, absolutely, yeah.
So we can all move energy. We can walk into a room and we can bring energy with us. We can help brighten that room, or we can help bring that energy down a bit. So that energy that we use when we walk into a room can also be channeled into our creations. And that's what I do. I channel energy directly through myself as a vessel into the candle that becomes a gift and vessel for the recipient to offer them peace.
So then the recipient, the person that gets the candle, lights the candle, and while on the course of the candle burning, it's releasing the intentions of the energies that you imbued into the candle to create some sort of end result.
That is correct. And so initially where we start off with, my base energy that I include is peace. Because in order for us to truly meet our intention, we want to be at peace, to feel our own peace, because any other disturbances could interfere with the intention that we have. Our intentions will always follow our attention. So if our attention is at how we will not meet this intention, then we are likely to receive the result that our attention is focused on.
Wow. That is a mouthful. You got to be careful with the I's and the A's. I'm
Eyes and the A's, yeah.
Okay. So then what kinds of things do you imbue into these candles? And I'm not saying like, I don't want to talk about the material you use just yet, but I mean, what kinds of intentions can people expect from using these candles?
So for instance, the New Beginnings candle has the intention of prosperity, working with the heart space. So I also do a lot of work with chakras. When I think about energy, I'm not able to talk about energy and not include chakras, which are our energy centers. So working with the heart space to open it up to prosperity, to open it up to an abundance for that new beginnings. So that we can settle into the new beginnings. Then I'd say if we go deeper for some of my ceremonial candles that I offer, I have a sacred death candle, which helps us to offer an easy transition to our loved ones, allowing us to give them the gift of receiving their energy back for their transition.
Huh. Wow. So during the time that I was at the Edgar Casey Center, for those who don't know, the Edgar Casey ARE here in Virginia Beach is a powerful place. It was built by the father of metaphysics, Edgar Casey. And they routinely have these events where they bring a lot of different types of modalities under one roof. They have lectures and workshops and all kinds of things. And I was fortunate enough to be able to attend one of them. And that's where I got the information for our guest. When I was looking at all the candles, there were several that were calling to me, and I was smelling them because I'm figuring that's how I need to choose them. But the one that ultimately came home with me was more about Gaia, right? Getting in connection with the earth. And that's not at all anything that I expected to get. In fact, I was thinking, well, prosperity or spiritual enlightenment and all these different things, but I got earth. Do you remember how we came to that?
Yes, because Mother Gaia was actually calling out for you. You have a link within your lineage to shamans and medicine women, medicine practices. And they're what I would refer to as very important codes that you carry within your DNA, within who you are, your makeup. And Mother Gaia was asking for your assistance as one of service to help her with Earth and its inhabitants.
And I'm literally getting goosebumps because not a lot of people know I am incredibly attracted, drawn to is a better word. I'm incredibly drawn to the shamanism, Native American ceremonies, that kind of, the desert is always called to me in a very big way. Even though I grew up on an island in the Caribbean and love the beach, something about the desert that really just sets me at peace. You asked me if I did a lot of gardening and things like that, and I haven't. I just haven't done that. But since getting the candle, I am really finding myself being more and more aligned with that type of thing. Well, the reason why I ask that is because it seems that you hear about this kind of thing all the time. It's not, you don't choose the tool chooses you. And it seems like this was almost exactly what had happened with this candle. Not at all what I wanted to take home with me. So is it something that someone should go in there immediately thinking, I need to get a prosperity candle? Or should someone just be open to what's calling to you?
It's challenging for me to say anything about shoulds or could'ves or would'ves. I am someone who believes that free will is first and foremost. And the importance of us being connected to our sovereignty is to be able to understand our own truth, our own voice when it's speaking. So someone may feel that I need to go and get this prosperity candle, and they may very well be connecting to the truth of their voice. So if I say, no, you don't want to do that, that would somehow diminish the value of their voice. And if I say, be open, and I persuade someone in a different way and they're not able to follow their truth, then that could also deter them from reaching where they need to go. However, and I'm not going to say even need to go, reaching where they want to go, because that's the most important piece, is that it is all about your free will. My role that I play is helping you have an informed choice, that you may be informed of what is available to you, that you may hear a little bit about the divine design that makes you as unique as you are, so that you can see how you're a part of it all. And then you choose whether this candle is for you, where you are in your life right now, whether this candle is for you on where you want to go. But that's where the discussion comes in, because it ultimately is about your choice. But we can connect based on a number of ways. Just like you said, is it based on the scent? Some people really do connect based on smell, and that's their number one superpower. But then someone else might say, you tell me, because I don't know if I can make that decision on my own.
Which is exactly what happened with me. Yeah. Exactly what happened with me. And in my defense, you are an intuitive, right? So you feel things. And so I trusted that you're gonna know the
Yes.
best one for me right now. And so, because I was torn, I really could not make a decision, and you were able to guide me in the right direction. Now, we'll get into how to get these candles in a little while, but let's talk about the materials. You imbue this energy into these candles, but you use different things that are built or melted into the candle wax itself. What kind of things did you use and why?
So purposefully, I only use all natural everything. So I use all natural premium soy wax. I also use an all natural wooden wick that it crackles. I want it to connect with the individual's sense of hearing. I also use the all natural oils for scents because I don't want it to be an overbearing synthetic scent. I want it to be something that flows with your natural essence. And I use healing crystals. Gotta love my healing crystals. So the healing crystals come from the earth, but we go steps further. They arrived on the earth somehow, some way, how they were formed. And then I use botanicals also. And botanicals, they serve in their own way too. And that connection with Mother Gaia, each plant has a spirit base that is associated with it. So if I have chamomile in the plant in the candle, chamomile helps us with releasing emotions, and that would serve in helping the intention that is associated with that particular candle.
Wow. Okay. So how does someone use the candle? They just light it and go about their business, or are you supposed to stare at it while it's burning? How does someone use these candles?
My recommendation is to read the intention that's on the candle. I actually even recommend studying it a bit, touching it, becoming familiar with it with your own senses before you light it. What is it that stands out to you? Is there anything that stands out to you? Is it the scent that you're just really ready to experience? Pay attention to that. Allow it to connect with you and be with the candle. And then as you read the description of the candle, play that back to yourself and light it with your intention. Remember, intention follows attention. So we want to make sure our attention is associated with the candle at this time, with the goal that we have in mind, because that's intention is really just another word for goal. So with that, we light it. And I do recommend sitting with it for a few moments. When you sit with it for a few moments, you're looking at the flame. You're looking at how the wax is starting to move. It's relaxing you into that intention that you have in mind. You see everything working together for you, for your intention, for your energy. And then after you've sat with it long enough where you feel, I'm comfortable enough to walk away, then walk away. Walk away for an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, whatever suits you. And then once you come back, I always recommend, what is the first thing that catches your attention when you walk into the room? Is it the sound of the wick crackling? Sounds like rain outside, but it's really just your candle speaking to you? Or is it the glow of the flame, the dance of the flame? Is it calling you to move with it? Or did you smell the scent of that natural fragrance? And it's just right in the background, helping you remember your intention. All of that is what you would pay attention to so that you can stay aligned with your intention.
Beautifully said. And it reminds me of when I was studying in the coven, the Wiccan coven. That's where the term candle magic came from in the introduction, because we did a lot of candle magic. And the way it was explained to me was, everyone throws around the concept of the law of attraction and manifestation and all that kind of stuff. And my high priestess at the time mentioned that if you think of your thoughts as the flame of a candle, if you look at the flame right above it, you'll see a small, tiny little wisp of smoke drifting up from the flame into the universe. If you can imagine your thoughts are that flame, and that wisp of smoke is the connection of your thoughts going out into the universe to create something, to manifest something, that is the start of what you are setting your intentions into this candle in the form of candle magic. So I assume it's very similar in essence to what you are talking about, but you have a lot of that essence, a lot of that energy and intentions already built into the candle because you imbued it as you were creating the candle. So now your intentions are then mixed with mine. And when I'm giving the candle my attention, we are together making something happen that we've agreed is what we want to happen together. I mean, that is beautiful when you look at it that way. It is you and I connecting across the universe with the aid of a flame. I mean, that's beautiful. That's amazing. So
It's
in
absolutely
that,
beautiful. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. And this now the audience can start to get an idea as to why I could not leave that place without saying, please come talk to me on the show. Because all this that we just said was what was going through my mind. I'm not one to walk into these things and go, oh, wow. Most people know that. I need to know where's the proof, what's really happening here. I need to feel it, touch it, all that kind of stuff. But for some reason, you and I have never met before, but I was drawn to the conversation we were having. So I knew for some reason I need to buy one of these candles. I am fascinated by what you do.
Thank you.
People would ask if someone wanted to make an intention that you hear it all the time, right? A spell. You want to get back your lover, your ex, or whatever, get them to love you back, or you want someone to leave you the heck alone, right? These are not the types of candles that I saw when I met you, but are these the type of things that you think are out there? Well, or do you know that they're out there? And if they are out there, is that something that people should mess with?
Going back to the shoulds.
Right. Free will. I totally understand. I know where you're headed with that.
Do they exist? Absolutely. Is it something that I do? No. I believe in free will, so I do not want to manipulate anyone on any level.
Right.
Been there, done that. It's over with. So,
Right.
not going there. But with the free will, that's also an important piece. Yes, there are candles out there that would be what we would consider a spell. Yes. There are candles that I like to refer to it more of a protection candle, not necessarily against one particular individual where I direct that individual to stay XYZ, but more so of how do you make sure that you retain your peace? Because ultimately goes back to the individual that is experiencing it. Just like suffering is in the eye of the person, it's in the person who has declared that it's suffering. Someone else may not declare it as suffering. So that individual may not even know that that's something that they need to stop doing to you. So it comes back to the person. I would say for anyone who's out there seeking the desire to reconnect with someone or to have someone do something outside of their free will, I believe it's more where we want to take a look within. And I love to talk to them about that and see what I can help them with directly versus how we are going to manipulate the actions of others.
That is a perfect segue into the next phase of our conversation. But first, a word from friends of our show.
Welcome to the Divine Healing by Divina podcast, where each week I will discuss new methods of how to spiritually connect and heal yourself. It's spirituality simplified for the modern woman. No judgment, no negativity, just love and light. Join me in on this amazing journey.
And now back to the Skeptic Metaphysicians. We just talked a lot about candles, and that was the thrust. The reason why I invited you on the show to talk about candles, because there is a lot. It's about intention, setting intentions, and making things happen based on energies that you imbued in these candles, and together you make happen. But there's so much more than these candles to you. You are, like I just mentioned, you are what you consider a peacemaker priestess, and that is incredibly intriguing. I'm super curious about what that is, but you're intuitive. You are an artist, or a spiritual artist, a best-selling author, and the soul work priestess. I want to know about all of it, but let's talk first about the peacemaker priestess part. What is that?
Peacemaker priestess. Well, number one, the products that I make, they're all made in peace, and I believe every being deserves peace. It's not even a matter of deserving it. It's their sovereign right. And so if I can provide peace, if I can channel peace, if I can help them know it just a little bit more, because there are those who have never experienced peace in their entire lifetime. If I can help them just a little bit, just to experience it for a second is worth never experiencing it all. So that's the peacemaker part, because not only do I make it through my products, I've been told that just being in my presence brings peace to many. Many people say, I just want to hang around you because you just bring me this sense of peace.
I feel that. I think that was part of the thing. That's why I kept talking to you, because you have this magnetism to you. You feel I feel good when I talk to you. So I can totally see where that comes from.
Yeah. It's a part of my divine design. And that's something that I've learned more about myself as I've studied and spent time with me, is that, yes, I am here to bring peace. That is a part of what I do. And that I also bring it when I speak. I just sharing some of the things that I like to do, help others see ways that they can move in peace. And even going back to your question about spells, and I'm not against spells on any level, but me speaking from a place of peace, I am against interfering with anyone's free will. So that in itself is peace. That's what I am. Right. So everything that I do, the work that I do with the earth, the work that I do with others, it's all from a place of peace.
That's absolutely beautiful. We need a lot more of you in this planet right now. A lot more of you.
Over here.
I know you are. And I'm getting to meet a lot of them lately, and it's a great thing, because it really kind of it restores your faith. You see so much ugliness in the world these days that when you stumble on someone like you, that you just, oh, okay, there's sanity in the world. We hear a lot of the bad stuff all the time because they're making the most noise. But the people like you, they're here to bring peace. You don't feel the need to go out there and make noise. You're there. You're there when someone needs you. You're there. And that is amazing. So I'm really glad that I am getting to meet a lot of you through the show. Now, as we were getting ready to record, we talked about a life-changing experience that you literally just went through, like this past week, that changed everything. Now, I know that I am incredibly curious to find out what that is. And I know that people listening to the show are probably they're curious because I now just teased it to death, but there may be something in there that people that are looking for this type of life-changing experience might be able to resonate with. So can you tell us what happened? Like, what changed everything for you?
Absolutely. I'm happy to share. So for the past few years, I've been on this journey, what I would say an expansive journey in discovering myself. And I found myself finding a lot of that. It's been meeting me in every corner, and I've been open to receive that. And I was recently invited to take part in a book project that allowed us to go together as authors on a journey in Teotihuacan, Mexico, which takes us back to the ancient ruins that you find in Mexico. And we were at the Pyramid of the Sun, or the Sun Pyramid, Pyramid of the Moon, Quetzalcoatl's pyramid, and really just being a part of that entire experience of what we would consider as, or what the Aztecs referred to as, dying and being reborn. Ooh. So we went through hell and we returned. We walked through the Avenue of the Dead. We did shamanic breath work. I walked on fire 3 times, literally. It was really cool. Went to the womb of the earth. Felt what it feels like to be reborn, what that process would be like if you were in the womb, if you were placed in the walls of the uterus, like would that feel like? We don't remember that. So all of that was part of this experience. And during shamanic breathwork, I had a wonderful vision experience of birthing the rainbow serpent. And in birthing the rainbow serpent, I was joined by Mother Mary, where she allowed me to rest my head in her lap while I gave birth. I had Isis on one side and Kali on the other, dragons all around me, birthing this beautiful rainbow serpent. And it reminded me of who I am and what I'm here to do. It helps secure that within myself so that I can stand in my sovereignty. And it also allowed me to choose my name. You often hear people receive a spiritual name. They were given a spiritual name. But I am a little different. I tend to buck back a little bit against rules, and I like to be my own self. And one thing that I've felt my entire life, and I even believe on the entire soul journey so far, is what everyone else wanted from me. So it was so important for me to find my voice, to find who the truth of me is. And even who I used to be was not who I am becoming. So with that, I chose my name as Q. And that is the name that I've been following since I've returned, because when I hear the name Robin, it doesn't even feel like me anymore.
Wow.
It's like someone saying, hey, 5-year-old. I'm like, no, I'm not a 5-year-old.
Right. For clarity's sake, when I met you, your name was Robin. And in fact, you registered for the show as a guest as Robin. This whole entire time, I did all my show notes based on the fact I was going to introduce you as Robin. And right before we came, you said, well,
Yes.
It's been a little bit of a change.
Yep, there's been a bit of a change. And interesting enough, if it had been Robin, 2 weeks ago, I would have said, well, whatever you feel comfortable calling me, you can call me what you want to call me. A phrase that I've got from my brother was, you can call me anything you want, just don't call me Colette. But nowadays,
I'm going to take that. I'm going to steal it.
And yet nowadays, standing in my power is not only important to me, it's me being able to say, I believe in why I'm here. I believe in what I'm here to do. I believe in who I am. So I at no point want to dismiss that my name is Q, that I choose to stand in my full power, my full essence, and be the peacemaker priestess that I am.
Well, I salute you for that. I would never, under any circumstance, call you a name that you did not want me to call you. So I introduce you as Q because that is your name. From now on, that is what I will call you. So
thank
Q.
You.
Thank you. So the experience that you just talked to us about sounds amazing, but you said something that touched a nerve with me.
Sure.
Because we've had a lot of different conversations with different people talking about rebirth. And everyone's talked about how messy a spiritual awakening is, how difficult it can be. Any type of birth, whether it's physical or spiritual, is tough. It's hard. And you said that you went through hell and you literally died and were reborn. I need to know a little bit about that. Like you didn't, like your heart didn't stop. You were talking symbolically, right? You didn't, was okay. Thank goodness.
I was going to say, I didn't say literally, but symbolically. But through the journey itself, you begin to see the traumas that you've experienced. You begin to see the shadows that exist within your life, things that you've hidden that you don't want to face. And you realize in order for you to be whole, it's so important to face all of you and love all of you. That means loving your shadows too.
Right.
And so that is challenging, just like with childbirth. Matter of fact, I just submitted my chapter for the book because, again, we were on an author's journey. So it's shaman heart, turning pain into passion and purpose. So we all carry pain and trauma that we've experienced. And sometimes we don't even identify it as trauma. And it's trapped in different places of the body. And we want to go on and be the best version of ourselves, but we also don't want to explore these areas that have this trapped pain, this trauma, this ugliness, And then I really see it as it's all beauty. No matter how traumatic it is, it really is still beautiful. Your scars are beautiful. And it's so important for us to connect to it. So me going down the avenue of the dead, me going to hell and back, when I went to hell, and the visual sense of going to hell and that experience is dealing with my shadows. Hey, shadow, you're hiding from me. You're hiding because I hid you. I chose to hide you. I didn't see the beauty in you. I wasn't ready to face you. Those are the monsters that hide in the closet. And no matter if we're 10 years old or 40 years old, it still takes courage to face them.
Right.
And say, I'm going to let that old self of me die.
I love that. I actually tell my daughter all the time that the beauty is in the flaws. That's something I'm trying to instill in her, because last thing I want is for her to ever think my blemish, it doesn't make me pretty, or it doesn't make me, no, it's the magic is in the flaws. I completely understand what you are talking about. Now, this experience you mentioned was an experience for a bunch of authors. So I assume that something like this is not open for someone like me who can't write his way out of a paper bag.
Oh, but it is.
Oh, is it?
Yes. So our leaders of our author's journey, they conduct these events regularly. Freedom and Folk. So look it up, Freedom and Folk, if you're interested. It's Jeremy and Stephanie, and they lead wonderful people all the time on these amazing journeys through Toltec wisdom.
And it's called Freedom and Folk. I'm going to go ahead then and add a link directly to this on our show notes. So if someone's interested in finding out more about this experience, feel free to go to skepticmetaphysician.com, go to this episode and click the link. It'll take you directly to their website. I know I'm going to, here's a question.
Yes.
Because we've actually had people on to talking about these kinds of experiences. And actually, in this day and age, with the craziness of Big Brother watching over us all the time, since I've been doing the podcast, I have been getting bombarded by ads on Facebook for a specific spiritual journey. And when I look into it, because we're all, that's what we're here for, right? You're listening to the show because you're interested in something like this. I'm doing it because I want to learn how to ascend, how to become a better person, how to wake up spiritually. You do what you do because you want to help people, because it's inside you, you're in your spirit. So I went to check it out. I clicked the link and fell down a rabbit hole. I've also interviewed people specifically talking about psychedelics. So I've got to ask, because it wouldn't be me if I didn't. Native Americans or medicine men and women from all over the world actually utilize plant medicine for a lot of, you've heard of the vision quests or the dreams that they take. Carlos Castaneda, one of the main reasons why I got involved in metaphysics, was always talking about, there you go, absolutely. It was talking about peyote. So the question is, does this have anything to do with ayahuasca or DMT or peyote or anything to launch that journey?
How surprised would you be if I said that we had no substances other than just the love of us?
Okay. I would be incredibly surprised first, but second, I would be absolutely ecstatic, because that is the reason why I've not gone on these things. Because every time I hit one on Facebook, it's an ayahuasca retreat or it's DMT retreat, and they start you off with licking the bullfrog, right? No, I don't want any kind of things like that in my body. I just want enlightenment in the natural way. So then that is perfection. Like it's how does that happen? Can you share some of the secrets with us, or no?
So I want to give one correction, which is it's Freedom Folk and Soul is the name of their company, and you'll be able to find Jeremy and Stephanie, and you'll see how amazing they are with their delivery. But again, we didn't even have alcohol, if that helps. There were no substances that were used to help us achieve that state, other than us moving with the energy of the experience of being at the dreaming house, which is where we stayed, being together in ceremony and circle and sacredness, and exploring these amazing spaces and allowing ourselves to connect. So there were no psychedelics. And I'm familiar with some forms of plant medicine that I've done on my own behalf, because I'm like, what's going to take me deeper? I want to go.
Right.
And yet I did not need any of those to achieve what I achieved on this particular trip. And it was as vibrant as if I had an experience with plant medicine.
That's fantastic, truly. And was this a retreat? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a retreat. So it was 7 days, and we were working with turning pain into purpose. So we went to places that would assist with that. We went to the Basilica. We went to Frida Kahlo's home. So there were a lot of things that were associated with us being in on that journey and being able to share together. The shamanic breath work was definitely a beautiful experience. I recommend it to anyone. And again, it did not require us using any sort of substance.
That's amazing. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And in full disclosure, we actually just had a session, a warrior breath session with a past guest. They graciously held an event for Skeptic Metaphysician listeners, and it was an hour and a half, almost 2 hours of breath work set to music that really set some people on some serious journeys. And it was amazing. I had technical issues, so I feel gypped. This sounds perfect. So I'm definitely going to look them up because it sounds amazing. It sounds wonderful.
You'll enjoy it, Will. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I have no doubt. I have no doubt about it. I'm definitely going to check them out for sure. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
Now, beyond the candles, you have, on the risk of this falling into a let me promote all my products type of interview, I really want to know there's more things that you do. It's not just candles that help you help others. What kind of things do you have that you do, that you use?
Well, I also do ceremony in you creating your own intention candles, where I open with cleansing you of any energies, connecting us in sacred circle, and speaking to you about energy and helping you to begin to tune into your divine design. Because again, we're all so very unique. And after tuning into that divine design, you'll begin to explore, what is it that I truly want to pour into my own intention candle? What do I want to create with? And I have crystals, botanicals, and natural oils for you to choose from. And you put together your intention candle, and we have that ceremony together for that completion. And you take that candle home, and then you work with it on your own. I also do sessions with clients and helping them discover and love who they are and why they're here.
Then the scientist in me kicks in again, and I have to ask, this sounds like a life coach or psychologist type of thing. Do you see yourself as something like that? Or is this strictly a spiritual guide position? I don't want to say position, but you know what I'm saying.
I've never been a big fan of labels or boxes. I always tell people, don't put me in a box because I'm just going to break right out of it.
Right.
That just tends to be my thing. But I believe that's why I stick with Käzmik Priestess, because what I'm doing it is a form of priestess work, whether it's a ceremony or whether it's helping you connect to the divine design that you are, or whether I'm performing some sort of act as an artist. It is still me working within what I would consider my ministry of delivering a message.
What makes you a spiritual artist?
Because I am connecting with you on a spiritual level, that is for sure. Everything I do is spirituality. Someone might say, what's your spiritual practice? Everything. When I get up in the morning, when I open my eyes, how I tune back into the body, how I journal, how I walk across the floor is a part of my spiritual practice, because I am constantly tuning myself into all of what is around me energetically.
But how do you sustain that? I try. I wake up in the morning, I meditate, I read a passage from one of my many books that to help me set my intentions for the day. I sent out my intentions on social media, so to get my thoughts out there, and then I come and I sit down and go to work and immediately run into the world's on fire and my spirituality is gone out the door. How do you maintain that kind of peace that you've got about you?
Interesting enough, I have a lot of reminders around me. If you were to look around in my space, even behind me right now, you'll see the beach that I painted. You'll see the moon and flowers. So there are reminders around me everywhere. In front of me, there's a chart of the chakras. There is the book I just showed you of Carlos Castaneda. I have it all right around me. I have crystals hanging from my ears, because I want to be reminded of the peace that exists. I want to be reminded of the magic in the world. And I know other things do exist, and I see them, And interesting enough, I see the entire world as being beautiful. And yes, we're areas where we can grow and expand, but we start first with seeing the beauty in what we enjoy, because what I consider beautiful may not be beautiful to someone else. And I'm okay with that. Although
Yeah.
I'm going to surround myself with what makes me feel amazing, what makes me feel beautiful, even if it's just a walk outside.
And that's a great message that we try to give on the show all the time. It's not okay to say there is only one right thing. All of these different modalities, we're all saying the same thing. It all leads to the same place. As long just pick a path. Intention candles might be perfect for me, but it may not be perfect for my daughter or my wife. But Reiki might be perfect for them. And that is what we need to celebrate. So what's beautiful to you, when you said may not be beautiful to somebody else, as long as it's beautiful to you, who cares? And for me to say, that's not beautiful, what are you talking about, is kind of sad in a way, because you are disallowing the beauty that that person sees to be real in your eyes. It's going to be real in their eyes always. And the beauty of the world is when you allow yourself to open up to the beauty of others, that then suddenly makes you think there's a lot more to this world than I had any idea about.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. That is exactly the message. It's up to us to observe the beauty and to accept it and receive it. Suffering shifts from our mindset when we realize that what we once thought was suffering is really just a part of it all. And it's a matter of how we approach it, how we look into it. What do we want to receive from it? So every experience has a multitude of things involved in it. And that's one of the reasons why I love the journal, because I capture moments and then I go back several months later and go and read it again and realize that, wow, I experienced that. Because so much has happened since then that I forgot about how wonderful this experience was. And I forgot about some of those details. Let me experience it again. And then let me keep my eyes open to see that wonder around me for the remainder of this day.
Gosh, I love that. If there was one thing that you would want to leave the audience with right now, one thought, what would that be?
Discover and love your divine design. You are brilliant. You are beautiful. And no one else gets to tell you who you are. You get to discover it.
That's wonderful. Now, okay, so if someone wanted to buy your candles or hire you for help, spiritual help and that kind of stuff, is this something that has to be done in person, or can someone reach out to you across the vastness of empty space and reach out and get in touch with you?
Yes. So if you attempt to reach out to me on the spiritual level, I might not hear your ping.
Fair point.
Fair point. There's lots of pings coming through at various times. Although I am open, you'll just kind of fall in line. You can also reach me easily through my website, which is spelled out 1111candles.com.
Great. I'm going to add that direct link to our show notes as well as your social media handles, which you provided to me earlier. So if you're interested in reaching out to Q, whether for the candles that she creates or for the ceremonies that she would help you with, or the spiritual growth that she'll help you reach, then I can't urge you enough. I don't know if the energy comes through the microphones that we're feeling, but there is literally, I cannot believe that the show's already over. Like, we just started talking. It feels like we just started talking, and here I am getting ready to close the show. And that is what I look for, because there is a connection that is made that feels genuine and real and authentic. And I thank you so much for coming and sharing of you and your energy with me and the audience, because you are a beautiful soul. And I'm really honored and thrilled to have had the chance to spend time with you.
Likewise, it is my pleasure, Will. Thank you for having me.
Before we go, I did want to share a brand new review for the show that came in. It was from Again, and it comes all the way from the United Kingdom. This person gave us a 5-star rating. Thank you again. And she or he says, incredibly interesting podcast. I love it. I've always been interested in the weird and wonderful too, like the hosts, and I've always been skeptical of some things, and here I get to hear all about different metaphysical genres, for lack of a better classification, plus the interest of the hosts makes it a fun listen. Love, love, love this. And then they put little hearts. That's why I assumed it was a woman, but maybe not. Anyway, if you'd like to leave us a review or rate the show, and we'd really love it if you did, you can do that directly on our website, skepticmetaphysician.com, or on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or all the other podcast platforms that are available. We do appreciate every single one of our reviews, and we're always looking for ways to improve the show, and reviews and ratings are one way that we can evolve and grow by learning what you like and what you don't. We'd love to continue our conversation with you on Facebook and Instagram, so please find us there at Skeptic Metaphysician or at skepticmetaphysician.com, where you can find direct links not only to our social media platforms and those of our guests, but where you can subscribe to the show and leave us a review, a voicemail, or send us an email directly from the site. We want to know who you are and why you listen to the show, so please drop us a note. You might just hear your email or your voice or your review right on the show. As always, if you know someone that benefit from hearing the messages we've shared on the show or any of our others, I hope you'll consider sharing us with that person. It'll help grow the show and may just help someone else to come to terms with the fact that we are so much more than just this three-dimensional body that we inhabit. Listening to the episode on the radio and missed anything, not to worry. All of our shows, including this one, can be found on our site, skepticmetaphysician.com. And don't forget, you can become a member of the Skeptic Metaphysician community for free there and enjoy the added benefits of discounts for services from some of our past guests, as well as a chance to never miss a show immediately once it's been published. I hope that you have enjoyed this episode as much as I have. That's all I have for now. We'll see you on the next episode of The Skeptic Metaphysicians. Until then, take care.